Welcome to Soul Growth Stories. Today, we follow Julian's journey to discover how letting go of heavy burdens creates inner peace. Meet Julian, a man who walked through life with a permanent frown, his eyes casting shadows even on the brightest days. To the outside world, he looked normal, but in his mind, he was carrying a massive, invisible backpack filled with stones. These were not ordinary rocks found on the ground. They were the heavy, sharp stones of hatred, resentment, and past grudges. Every time someone insulted him or treated him unfairly, Julian would pick up a stone and add it to his load. When a friend betrayed his trust years ago, he did not forgive. Instead, he chose to carry the heavy rock of betrayal. Years passed, and the collection of stones grew larger, making every step Julian took an exhausting battle against his own memories. He cherished these stones, believing they protected him, reminding him never to trust anyone and never to let his guard down.
But the weight was crushing his joy, isolating him from love, and turning his heart into a fortress of cold stone. One day, feeling unable to take another step, Julian wandered onto a mountain path, seeking silence to escape the noise inside. There, sitting peacefully beneath an ancient oak tree, was a sage who looked as light as a feather floating on wind. Julian collapsed before the elder, his breath coming in ragged gasps, the invisible weight pressing him flat against the earth. The sage opened his eyes, smiling gently, and looked not at Julian's face, but at the heavy burden hovering behind him. He asked softly why a traveler would choose to climb such a steep mountain while carrying a bag filled with dead rocks. Julian argued that he could not leave them, for they were the proofs of how the world had wronged him unfairly. He explained that each stone was a memory of pain he needed to keep, so he would never be hurt again. The wise man nodded slowly, walking around Julian, observing how the straps of the invisible bag were cutting into his skin. He handed Julian a cup of water and asked him to hold it out straight, keeping his arm completely still and rigid. Julian held the cup easily at first, but as seconds turned into minutes, his arm began to ache and tremble uncontrollably. The sage explained that the weight of the cup did not change, but the longer he held it, the heavier it became. He told Julian that hatred and resentment are like that cup. Holding them for a moment is fine, but forever is paralyzing. The sage added that the stones in his backpack were not hurting the people who gave them. They were only destroying Julian. Julian looked at his clenched fists and realized he was the prisoner of his own refusal to let the past go. He asked the sage how to put them down, for they felt like they were glued to his very soul and identity. The sage smiled and said he must acknowledge each stone, thank it for the lesson, and then consciously choose to release it. Trembling, Julian reached into his invisible backpack and pulled out the first heavy, jagged stone from the darkness of his memory. He held the stone of betrayal, feeling its cold, rough surface, remembering the pain it caused him 10 years ago. He took a deep breath, whispered that he forgave the past, and hurled the stone with all his might into the abyss. He watched it fall until it disappeared, and instantly, a small part of the crushing weight lifted from his tired shoulders. Encouraged, he pulled out the burning red stone of anger, realizing it had scorched his own hands more than anyone else's. He acknowledged his anger, understood it was a shield for his hurt, and let it fly into the vast, open sky. One by one, he discarded the stones of jealousy, regret, and spite, each throw making him stand a little bit tall. The pile of rocks at the bottom of the cliff grew, but the space in Julian's heart expanded with every release. Finally, he held the largest stone, the one representing his inability to forgive himself for the mistakes he had made. He realized that to find peace, he had to forgive himself too, accepting that he was human and allowed to be imperfect. With a final exhale, he let the stone drop, watching his last burden vanish into the mist of the valley below. Julian stood straight for the first time in years, the phantom backpack gone, feeling the cool mountain breeze on his back. The sun broke through the clouds, bathing him in warmth, and he realized the world was not gray, but full of color. He turned to thank the sage, but the old man was gone, leaving only the whisper of wind through the ancient trees. Julian walked down the mountain, not as a victim of his past, but as the master of his own future and happiness. He understood that forgiveness was not about excusing the behavior of others, but about preventing their behavior from destroying his heart. The energy he used to waste on carrying hatred was now available for creativity, love, and building a new, vibrant life. He no longer saw enemies everywhere he looked. He saw people who were also carrying their own invisible, heavy backpacks. His eyes, once dark with suspicion, now shone with compassion, knowing that everyone is fighting a hard battle we cannot see. Where he once planted seeds of bitterness, he now planted seeds of kindness, watching his garden of life bloom beautifully. Julian learned that the strongest people are not those who hold on to weight, but those who have the courage to release it. He saw a young man walking with anger and silently wished him the strength to one day find his own mountain. Life is a long journey, and we cannot travel far or fast if we are weighed down by the heavy past. The backpack is still there, but now it carries only wisdom, happy memories, and the tools he needs to build tomorrow. He found that when he emptied his hands of rocks, he finally had the space to hold the hands of others. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door of resentment and the handcuffs of hatred. It is a power that sets you free. You do not have to carry the stones of yesterday into the potential of today. You can choose to put them down. Imagine how light you would feel if you dropped just one stone today. Imagine how far you could go without that weight. Letting go is not giving up. It is accepting that there are things in life that cannot be changed, only transcended. Give yourself the gift of forgiveness today. Unbuckle the heavy straps, empty the backpack, and take your first step into freedom. Your soul is meant to soar like an eagle, not to be weighed down like a sinking ship in a storm. Remember Julian's journey whenever you feel the weight returning. You have the power to choose peace over pain every single day. Be the master of your own backpack. Keep only what serves your growth, your joy, and your journey toward the light. We hope this story has inspired you to examine your own invisible burdens and find the courage to let them go. He who cannot forgive breaks the bridge over which he himself must pass. Thank you for watching Soul Growth Stories. Remember to drop your stones today. Subscribe for more tales of healing and wisdom.